Okay, welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. So Tszyu'S defense, very underrated. I spoke about that post Mendoza fight, but in this video I wanted to elaborate a little bit more, show you plenty of footage and have an analysis and a little breakdown of exactly what he's doing in there, because it's quite cute at times and it's very subtle. So let's get into the video. Boxing.
On it.
All right, shout out to all the subscribers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and love. Shout out to anybody new locked in as well. Welcome along. Defense wins championships.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
So, all right, that's a saying in the NBA. I think they coined that, where basically you're not going to win anything without a really good defense. And the same can be applied in boxing, not necessarily. There's always exceptions to the rules, but Tszyu'S defense is getting better and better and better and better. And as I said in the opening section, it's very subtle. He's very cute with it. And, you know, he acknowledges the improvements that need to be made. You know, for example, in the Tszyu'S fight, when he got dropped, he came in a little hastily, a little overzealous. And if you look at his general poise now compared to then, it's far different. He's learned from that. He goes to the gym, he acknowledges it, he works on it, and I love that. I love seeing fighters improve on the things that they need to improve on. And it was always a bit underrated, because it slipped past my net, to be honest, if that's even a saying. It slipped past my radar. But now I really noticed it, and I was like, wow, it's actually exceptional. Well, exceptional is a strong word. It's very good, and I think it's going to be very, very good as, you know, the more experience he has. But anyway, less of me rambling. Let's get into the footage.
Set the tone for the Knicks. The steal by Jackson. Rejected by Porzingis.
Okay, so we're going to be covering the Parrying Mendoza fight. I might pull up a clip or two from the Tszyu'S fight to show you the difference, especially in his just his energy and how poised and how much more relaxed he is and how less rigid he is, because he's definitely worked on a lot of things, and as I mentioned, it's great to see. So we're going to be doing the Parrying Mendoza. There were some people that were suggesting that Mendoza actually landed more shots than, you know, Tszyu'S got hit a lot. You know, I disagree with that. At the end of the day, he only landed 21% of his punches, and now if Tszyu'S did get hit, which, you know, obviously he did, he's in the mid-range, all right, as I mentioned in the post-fight, which is the most dangerous area, because you're in punching range, and he's walking down a top fighter who is pretty accurate, really. If you look at his knockouts that he landed against Rosario and against Fedora, you know, he's got a good jab. Parrying Mendoza's, you know, he's a good fighter, and you're walking him down, and he's only landing 21% of his punches when you're in mid-range. That says a lot for me. But anyway, let's get on with the film.
It was the 39-year-old veteran protecting the house.
So Tszyu'S, what he does nicely, he parries nicely, okay? Just slightly deflects shots here and there, keeps his high guard up, but it's an active high guard, and he uses a lot of movement with it as well. He's got pretty good fluidity and poise. You know, it's like his fluidity is a little rigid, but I'll show you in a couple of clips where he's shoulder rolling a lot. He's been doing it for several fights now. I made a short video about a few weeks ago. I'll pull it up right now and I'll show you loads of clips. He's shoulder rolling shots the right hand, and he's coming back with uppercuts, and, like, you know, it doesn't look as pretty as your average shoulder roll, but it's the timing of doing it, and, well, the ability to do it in the mid-range as well, and the execution of it. So that's one part of it, but there's a lot more layers to it. I'll show you.
Executes beautifully. Jimmy gets to the paint. Unbelievable.
So he keeps his hands up nicely, especially when he's about to, you know, engage. He's very disciplined with that, and that's really important, because, you know, he understands what range he's in, but he's poised with it. And he has like a peekaboo, and he's seeing everything, right? His concentration levels are very high, and that is one of the more impressive things, and that's what you really have to do when you're defense. But what makes this more impressive is when he's exerting his offense as well, he's still able to have that concentration with defense, which is one of the harder things to do in boxing, in my opinion, is when you're pressuring your opponent and you're still defensively responsible, concentrating, putting the pressure on, letting your hands go, but also being defensively responsible. I just said that, but you know what I mean. Okay, so right here, Mendoza was doing this quite a bit, right? He kind of feints upstairs. See where his shoulder drops back? He looks like he's going to shoot the jab. All right, see Mendoza here? Slow it down. See, he feinted the jab there. Tszyu'S bought it a little bit. Didn't swipe so far away down, okay? A lot of fighters do this, where they swipe a little farther away from your chin, but he swiped it a little bit. He saw that Mendoza wasn't going to feint and he was going to come downstairs and caught it. And there's another one of these later on, so he picked up the pattern straight away. This is the third round. But, you know, a lot of fighters would have maybe bought that feint and he would have landed a shot, but he saw it, came back. That's concentration. And he doesn't fall, he doesn't really fall for the feints. You know, that's a very good sign for a good fighter that's alert and doesn't fall in for these little traps. And when you're doing that against a fighter, it can be challenging for you to overcome that, because, you know, if that's your way that you can, you know, get your offense going, and that's how you shut it down. So Tszyu'S pretty good at just generally stepping back, and a step back is one of the, well, it's probably the most important and the easiest defensive move you can do, and the most powerful move, because it just takes your opponent's offense away if you get the timing right. But if you look at his concentration here, see his eyes, he's on it, and that's how he operates defensively, like that. Never takes his eyes off Brian Mendoza at all. He's always looking at this area, which is typically where you should be looking if someone's punching. People have their own ideas on that, but generally you want to be looking around here, the shoulder part, because where the punches come from. You know, you can change it from the eyes to the shoulders, wherever. The top half of the fighter right here, this part of the fighter right here, you want to be looking at all times. And a lot of fighters take their eyes off fighters. Tszyu'S doesn't. So this little passage right here might not look like much, right? But when you slow it down, like I'll show you. So Mendoza comes in, the jab gets parried with his backhand crossing over like that, right? He slips. It's a little unorthodox, but he bends over and basically shoulder rolls it while bending down. It's not textbook shoulder roll, but the point is the punch didn't land, and then he kind of smothers Mendoza as well. 3-punch combination, none of those landed because of Tszyu'S defense.
Foul Lillard. Almost stolen. Lillard stolen by Iguodala.
Okay, so here's another example. Tszyu'S got that high guard on, right? But he's really peeking through. He's concentrating. He's looking at Mendoza mid-range again. Well, Mendoza's right there, okay? And see that feint? Mendoza feints with that jab. Tszyu'S again bites at it a little bit, but he understands the body shot's coming in. Swivels his, shuts the angle off, cuts the body shot off. Still looking at Mendoza. Yeah, concentration levels through the roof. And, you know, the feints aren't working for Mendoza, and that would usually find its way in. But Tszyu'S steps back, so he's just always either out of range, or if he's in range, he's catching the shots. He's great at doing the subtle little things. Okay, this is another small little thing he does. Again, they're all small little battles that they have in that mid-range that Tszyu'S wins most of. When I say wins, meaning not really getting hit. Okay, Mendoza's going for this. Now, catches it with his forearm here, okay, as a left uppercut coming in. All right, catches that. Mendoza's going to come around for another left hook to the body, and then he smothers it. Again, it's a little unorthodox, you know, but that punch didn't land because his forearm is right there. I can't see it from here, but he shuts the fizz of the velocity of that punch down by leaning into it. So that's another fairly old school like way of fighting, actually. And then he's in with the elbows, right? That's the manipulation that kind of breaks Mendoza's rhythm if he's trying to land any more shots. So, you know, smart. And then he gets his own shot. Then he gets his, that's how you turn defense to offense. And right there, again, this little what he does with, he's very good at parrying, especially when it's across his body like that, right? Which can be a little dangerous because it can leave you open for a left hook here. But he does it nicely like that, where he can maneuver his hand over like this. But catch it here. I think Mendoza feints him, but none of that works, so he resorts to the shoulder roll, and Mendoza misses. It's an awkward looking shoulder roll, but he uses it effectively. And you know, a lot of fighters would get hit with that. You know, they might just keep the parry here and not move the shoulder. If he's not ducking that shoulder, he's going to probably get hit on the side of the head. But it looks like nothing happened because Tszyu'S made nothing happen. Yeah, there again, just evades two fairly feeble shots from Mendoza, but it's his concentration. See right here, this is a good example. Tszyu'S right in the mid-range, okay? He's got his high guard up, but his eyes, you can't see them, but he is like focused obviously solely on Mendoza right there. Mendoza tries a little bite. Tszyu'S just doesn't fall for any of the bites because, like I said, his concentration levels are through the roof. You know, it's phase over. And then, of course, look, offense is his defense as well. That is part of his defense, is his offense. It can shut fighters down, and it can make them, you know, more gun shy because he is powerful. And then, you know, he obviously with him not biting on the feints can shut your opponents down too. You know, if they're not tricking you with anything, then it's harder for them to get their offense off. Here's a good example of another shoulder roll that I missed the first time that I've just seen in this clip here. Watch this. So Tszyu'S coming in. It's the 10th round. 17 minutes, 17 seconds left. Mendoza's looking a bit tired, but look here. Tszyu'S just, you know, his footwork is a bit weird there, but he comes in here. Mendoza comes for the overhand right, and he just casually blocks an overhand right with his shoulders. You know, he sees things coming, and that's a big part of defense. Is actually not what you're doing, but it's what you're watching what your opponent's doing, and that's what starts the motion of your brain being able to work quicker. And then you can see the little tells that they're doing or the patterns that they have, and he knew that right hand was coming, and it's bold to do that in front of a fight like that. I know he's tiring, but 10th round, shoulder rolling and overhand right. Fair play. And while we're here, I'll just show you he's got pretty good you know, guard control and manipulating Brian Mendoza and posting him and keeping him in a position that he wants him so he can get his offense off. I'll just talk on now because there's a little thing here. Mendoza's on the ropes. See that where the hand goes up? Called framing and posting. All right, Mendoza tries to block it. He's still got him pinned a little bit. All right, misses there, but Tszyu'S, I'm assuming he's going to get better at that because he understands what, you know, he needs to, well, not what he needs to improve, but he just likes improving. And that is why when you give like a year that he's had, and he's had 3 fights in 1 year, right? Obviously all dominating performances. And, you know, someone like Jamel Charlo who fought Canelo. I know he's been injured, but you get a fighter like Tszyu'S, how much you can get better in 1 year with training, with focusing on the things that you know that you need to get better, putting the work in, and he's going to be an absolute massive problem at 154 or 160 because he just constantly tries to improve. Gotta love it. And he does like these, he does like awkward ways. Right there again, another shoulder roll. Watch this. Trading in this is an exchange too, which is usually 50-50. All right, Mendoza's a bit tired, a bit desperate, but look, he throws a jab. All right, Tszyu'S, if you notice his face, he's still concentration level there. Bang, misses with the shot, shoulder roll. I mean, that would have caught most fighters, but because his concentration levels are so good. Bam, catches it. Wonder if he comes back with an uppercut. Oh, no, he didn't that time. But there, see, look, he missed. He's back to the framing. So this has been drilled. This has been tattooed in his head, and he's going to be a problem because, you know, when you try to get out of what you're in, he's just going to post you there and then get his shots off. Right, I'm going to pull up the short video that I did, and we're going to analyze that because there's more clips in different fights, and I want to just show you, you know, exactly what he's been up to, Mr. Tszyu. All right, so let's go this step by step. I'm just going to go through each one. Here's fighting Tony Harrison. Look, Harrison, again, he was in the mid-range. Throws a jab out. Tszyu'S concentration. Look at his eyes. Doesn't take it off. Parries the jab. Okay. Catches the jab. Sees that coming in. Look at this shoulder roll. Look at that. Doesn't move his eyes. Just trusts. Boom. Trusts his perception and trusts his skill. And just sees everything coming. So it's almost like it slows down for him. And then, what do you do after a shoulder roll? Bam, comes back with an uppercut. It's a bit sloppy, don't get me wrong. It's not the most technically beautiful, but it's effective. And here we are again. Okay, yeah, he's good at slipping when he comes on, and he's good at slipping when he's like in the range as well. Something he was doing against Tszyu'S and Harrison. Right there, right? I want to talk about something called depth perception, which this isn't the best example of it, but somebody that executed depth perception very well or amazing was Floyd Mayweather, and I'll pull up some clips right now to show you, especially against Marquez. I'm sure he did it loads throughout his career, but depth perception is basically the illusion, or like, you know, how to judge a distance, or, you know, how good are you at judging where something is, right? And what fighters will do is that they'll lean their head forward like that and then move it back like that. So it creates this, like, you know, an illusion that their head is there, then it's not, but they still have their balance and they can counter with it. And that's a little bit what Tszyu did there. When you can move your head like that and, you know, your opponent misses and you can come back and counter. Tszyu's getting much better at doing that. And there's a couple of examples in the Tszyu'S fight where he leans back and then comes back and counters. So he's got a lot of subtle little tricks in his arsenal, but depth perception is not really used. You don't really see, and this isn't a good example, as I said, of it, but I just wanted to talk about it because I can see Tszyu tries to do it subtly here and there, but the likes of Mayweather, man, he was amazing at it. And like I said, it's just leaning forward. Canelo does it very well too, actually. And you just pull him back, and the opponent thinks that your head is there, and obviously it's not, because you're moving out the space that it was in, and then you can come back. So right here, check this out. Okay, he's very good at doing this. As I said, parries that jab. Okay, look at his eyes again. They are so good. That might be the best part about his defense. His concentration levels are through the roof. Look at this. Here, catches that, still watching, believes in it, shoulder roll, boom. Comes back with an uppercut. You know, great stuff. Slipping on the inside again, boom. Catches it. Subtle, very subtle. Now this one here, Harrison comes with a right hand, just blocks it with that. That's the same shoulder roll. This is the depth perception one I was talking about. He's in a position and he leans back. It looks a bit like he looks a bit more rigid in this fight, but that just shows you how much improvement he's made. Misses the shot here. Depth perception. Boom. That's an okay example of it, but he's doing it. And again here, Harrison shoulder roll. Boom. Slipping. Catches it. Right, this is another little shoulder roll on a couple of punches from Tszyu'S. Catches the hook. Look at his eyes, watching, right? Feel, instinct. Turns that shoulder right inside. Now Tszyu'S going to throw a left hook. This left hook might land a little bit because it moves. I don't know how much it landed, but it moves Tszyu off balance, and he still came back with a right hand. So he's countering now after shoulder rolling and blocking a left hook and getting caught, and he's still able to counter. Long guard, parries the jab. He's very good, as I said, from his lead backhand. Sorry, excuse me. Where you parry jabs. He's very good at doing that. Either parrying it down and then shoulder rolling, or keeping his opponent a bit long at bay. Yeah, look. Never swipes too far away, and if he does, he's always back, and he'll just, the subtle little things, jumps back out of range. Yeah, we've seen that. That was from earlier. He feels. It's a feel. Defense is a feel, instinct, right? Concentration and belief as well. He really believes in his skills. You can see that, but it's his concentration that is high level for me. All right, that is it. I've been rambling quite a bit. I hope this makes sense. I'll leave timestamps, as I said. Well, it's the end of the video, so you would have figured that out by now. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are new, hit the subscribe button. I've got a lot of videos coming. I know I've made a few videos on Tszyu'S. I'm not like a Tszyu'S fanboy channel or anything like that, but I wanted to really go into depth about his defense and just to highlight some things, because it's exciting to see a fighter get better and better. It really is. I love it. But I've got a ton of videos coming. The ones I've mentioned before are still coming. I've got Bevo, the Art of Perfection. I'm going to the Barclays tomorrow. Last time I said I was going down there was a Drake concert, so I had to cancel that. I didn't want to shoot that while there was all these people down there. And yeah, I've got loads of other stuff coming, shorts and whatnot, and I appreciate all the support. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it, and hit the comments if you have anything to add on Tszyu'S defense, and share some knowledge. For now, peace and love. I'm out of here, boxing on the edge. Have a great week.
Well, this is what playoff basketball is all about. You're getting quality possessions on both ends of the floor and solid D. A big defense chant here at the new Garden.
Boxing.
On edge.